tuning in tonight. This is your boy, Greg Gerg7 Adler, tuning in to give you your Phi Mu Alpha LCS Season 2 update and no team roster update because we're saving that for next week. But thank you for tuning in. I'm extremely excited to talk about all the changes we have upcoming for this split. I got a couple people here that are going to help me out tonight. Got a couple noobs joining me. First off, you know him as arguably the worst top laner in the LCS. He only plays 4 champions, and when you ban them, he just bitches about it till he can't stop bitching nonstop all the time. Bitch, bitch, bitch. It's your boy, Sebastian Lightpulse94. What's going on, Sebastian?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's fine. I can still hit flash ultimates and flash any abilities in any one of my champ pools, so I guess I got that going for me. So,
Technically, you can't hit a flash ult on.
say again.
Anyway, next
Just
up,
froze up
we
there.
got arguably the second worst top laner in the PMA LCS. Your boy, Gnarls Eric Barkley. What's going on, Eric?
Gnarls Eric Barkley, what?
Yeah, dude, Gnarls Eric Barkley.
What's up?
And last, and certainly least, you got your boy, see, I keep saying the worst, but he is the worst Overwatch player that has ever existed. He'll even say it before I do. Your boy, General Dylan, the Spicy Pickle.
Actually, I've recently submitted to Riot to change my name to General Greg Sucks, so you can refer to me as that.
General Greg Sucks. Is it not taken already? I'm pretty surprised.
Is that really not taken? I'll fucking hit that up right now.
In before name switches are coming.
I'll be General Greg Sucks the third, apparently.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, we got a bunch of stuff we're gonna talk about tonight. Bunch of different things, topics to talk about. So first off, what I'm gonna do here, give me 1 second while I get this up, is going off of the polls that were filled out at the end of last season, the three biggest things, three biggest feedback points. So number one was scheduling of games. I know a lot of people discussed that they wanted to have a more solidified plan for scheduling, kind of make sure people were on their game. So that's number one. Number two was balanced teams overall. That was another thing I know a lot of people wanted to make sure was better. I'll make the text bigger. That's a good idea. I'll make it... Can I make it 69? Oh, it's too big. That was a mistake. Oh, that's better. That should be better.
You missed out on the foreplay. That's what happened. When you go for the 69, you gotta have appropriate amounts of foreplay, Greg. Come on.
That was my fault. I underestimated the foreplay. All right, so number two is balanced teams, making sure we have evenly split teams across the board, ability-wise, skill-wise, stuff like that. And then last but certainly not least is starting games on time and making sure games are run organized, things that go into them, making sure people are there. We're not starting an hour later than we're supposed to. So first off, the first thing we're going to talk about is the schedule for the split. So this is kind of just, rather than just schedule, this is kind of just more general things. So it's going to be 9 teams again, same as last split, which means there will be 9 weeks in total. And so over those 9 weeks, that means you'll have a match every week except for one. So you'll have 1 week where you have a bye, kind of similar to last split, except last split we had a team quit, so we had an automatic win. Were you going to say something, Sebastian?
Isn't that 10 weeks?
Oh, yeah, sorry, 10 weeks. That's what I meant.
Okay, there you go.
Math is hard.
10 weeks. There we go. 10. No, it's 9 weeks.
How do you have 9? It's 10 weeks overall for the entire season because you have one bye.
But you
It's
only play
8
8
weeks.
matches, though.
It's
You
8
only
weeks.
play-
Everybody
Oh, so
plays
it's-
8 matches.
No,
You
it's
only play 8 matches and you have one bye.
Right. Duh, because you don't play yourself. I played myself. My bad.
Good job. Math is even harder.
Yeah, apparently.
Anyway, going on. And then lastly, so it's going to be 9 weeks. And then the last thing is that's going to start the week of June 11th to June 18th. So it starts the week of June 11th to June 18th, and that's a Sunday to a Saturday. So all the matches this split will go Sunday to Saturday for scheduling, and then the season will end August 13th, and that's that week of August 13th, and that'll be the last week of the regular season. So that doesn't include playoffs or anything like that. So to kind of give a little back view of the schedule, I kind of wanted to give a little bit of extra time once the teams were announced tonight for people to practice, kind of play a little bit together. And then as for ending the season, I wanted to end it before most people go back to school. I know a lot of people do go back to school around that time, but most people go back the week after, or week after or 2 weeks after. So I figured it was pretty good timing. Playoffs will be the only thing we'll have to worry about during the school year. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The timing of it is really good because most colleges, like you said, are not even in session, and even then, some colleges are in syllabus week, so it doesn't really nothing's really you're not gonna like pop out with like a performance or anything like the first week that it happened. So I think that's ample time.
Yeah, I think it'll hopefully work out well. We'll see though.
It'll buff out.
That's true. All right.
I just want to point out we do have 25 viewers right now.
25 viewers?
Yeah, because they all want to know like the teams.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not announcing that tonight. I thought that was already established.
Yeah, that's next week.
Yeah, that's next week, guys.
No, that's like in 3 months.
Oh, also, we didn't say it, but if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to ask in Twitch chat. I think Eric's watching. I'm not sure if Dylan and Sebastian are, but
I'm not.
what a surprise.
It's probably a good thing Sebastian's not.
But we'll answer your questions if you guys have any of them. They're all freaking out in chat. I'm watching it too.
You can't trust us.
All right. So as for scheduling matches for the split, it's going to be the same setup as last season. And what I mean by that is it's going to be the same where two captains have to come together and figure out what time works best for their team. I was debating between having set times to play. I just think that would restrict the amount of people that could play overall. And I think we really didn't have a horrible scheduling time. Sometimes matches were at like 1 or 2 a.m., which is pretty miserable. But I believe that kind of having this setup is the best thing for the LCS. It kind of allows the most people to play and kind of provides the most variety.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, me personally, as a team captain, I didn't really have a lot of trouble getting decent times. I know that there were a couple, and I mean, if you have those couple of games that run at midnight to like 1 a.m. or anything, then it is what it is at that point. Trying to get the games scheduled, but I think the fact that we don't restrict it carrying on to season 2 is actually. It's one of the things that actually really worked. Now, just granted that we keep the communications channels up, which you'll probably get into that a little bit later, unless you want me to get into it as well, like right now.
No, it's all right. We'll get to it. Don't you worry, baby.
All right, but yeah. So as long as communication channels are up, I really never had an issue scheduling a match. So, just stay on it. Like, make sure, like, even as teammates and whatnot, like, have your captain like completely on it. Like, that's something that my team did for me. Like Caleb and Rich, they were always on me. Like, hey, yo, when's this match schedule? When is this match schedule? Like, have we heard from their team? So they kept me on their toes. And like, as a team, like, that should be a collective effort to make sure that your captain is making sure that he's doing his job and doing whatever he's supposed to be doing to get those matches scheduled. So that way y'all can play. Like, the whole point is to play. Why would you not try and set up a time to where you can and like, you facilitate for everybody else?
So the biggest change coming to the scheduling of matches for next split, not really a crazy huge change, but what's going to happen now is team captains are required to be in a Facebook message with me as kind of the facilitator. Let me write this out. And the reason for that is this will kind of allow Basically any conversations that take place, I'll know exactly what's happening. So if there's any disputes about scheduling, can't come up with a time, I'll know exactly that what was said from each captain. And any conversations that take place outside of this group chat will not be considered if there's a dispute. So if we can't come up with a time and he's like, well, such and such messaged me on League, I won't take that into effect at all. The only thing that I will take into consideration is what was said in that Facebook message, that group message chat thing that includes the two captains and myself.
I think that's fair. As a team captain from last season, I think that's totally fair, and that's generally what you actually want with a moderator. So that way, how many screenshots did we get last season, Greg?
Uh,
How many
very
screenshots did we
few.
get last season? Yeah,
Very
so
few.
just to facilitate all of that from happening again. I'm glad you're not playing, so you can actually facilitate that, because that's honestly that's what we did at the very end of the season anyway. So carrying that on back into season 2.
Yeah, I think it'll help to kind of keep things a little more organized in that sense too. So going off of that, this is a very, very big change, and probably the biggest change coming in for next split is there is a new match attendance policy. So the time that's agreed upon, EA agreed, I can't type. The time that's agreed upon by both teams' captains will be the official start time of the match.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, here's the situation. If a player of a team is late 15 minutes, their team will lose 1 ban. If a player is late 25 minutes, you would lose 2 bans. If a player is late 35 minutes plus, you automatically lose the game. So
Fair.
the reason I put this into place is because we had a really big problem with last split with having a set time of when we're supposed to play. Like, oh, we're going to play at 9 p.m. And then the match wouldn't actually start till like 9:40. And so at the beginning of the split, I think it had a little bit to do with the streamers and kind of getting it organized. But definitely by the end of the split, it was very, very, very difficult to get matches started on time. A lot of people would just show up leisurely at any time they wanted, and some people were on a time crunch, and matches wouldn't start till 35, 40 minutes after they were supposed to start. So these rules will take place from the time the match starts. So if the match starts at 9 p.m. and a player isn't there till 9:15, that team will lose a ban. If both teams are missing a player, then both teams will lose a ban.
Real quick, Greg, there's a question that's relevant to this. Caleb has asked, how does this work for multiple players being? It's like if 2 players are late.
It's the same number. It won't affect anything because your team is not ready. It's the fact that your team is not ready.
Right. It'll just
Right. Okay.
It'll just
So it could be all 5 people late. If it's 15 minutes,
right. And if both teams are missing players at the 35 plus minute mark, then it's a draw.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a very, very, very strict policy here. It's very important that we get matches started on time. A lot of people have those tight schedules, and they're not, they plan to play at 9 o'clock, and if the game doesn't start till 10, well, that could screw up their entire schedule. So this is going to be very strictly enforced, so keep that in mind for the rest of this season.
Yeah, and what's it called? I know I'm talking a lot and whatnot, but what's it called? Just things that I used last season was that, guys, if you know you're not going to be able to make it to a game on time, or you're going to be like cutting it really, really close, just for the sake of the other 9 people that are, well, actually even 12, with the streamers and cashers and whatnot, like be considerate and say, hey, look, it's going to be close. I can probably make this time, but you always have to you always have to account for like something happening. It's just like work, because other people are depending on you to make it there as well. So if you're a captain and you know that one of your players is gonna like scrape by the skin of his teeth, have a sub ready for him in case something happens, and you have to get this match rolling because you don't want to lose a ban. So just be considerate, and team captains, just like plan ahead. Like that's honestly one of the biggest pro tips is that we never knew if one of our players was gonna make it. Well, I had a sub ready like 2 days prior to make sure that he would be there on time. So just be considerate and everything. Like this is all fun and games and whatnot, but it's not fun when we literally have the stream on for like 35 minutes waiting for someone to get on. So,
Right. All right, sweet. So yeah, that's gonna be definitely, like I said, a very strict policy that we enforce. So keep that in mind. Going on to the next point, not really a big one, is the LCS 10 ban system is going to be the system we have in place.
And the chat
Basically,
is
we're gonna go
asking a lot
off
of
of
questions about it.
whatever Riot has for custom games. We cannot possibly change it at all. So if they have the 10 ban system in place, we're gonna do it. If they have the way it's in solo and duo queue, we're gonna do it. So whatever they do is what we're gonna do. Just basically following them. Also, there is no restrictions on a number of bans towards a role. So Sebastian can start crying and weeping. The reason for that basically is, number one, in my opinion, the biggest reason is, let's say someone bans Jace and Vladimir against Sebastian. They could be like, well, those are mid lane champions. Those aren't top lane champions. And then basically, kind of cheat the system a little bit. So it's going to be basically whatever 5 bans you want. Anyone have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I do, but I was greatly overshadowed, so it doesn't really matter at this point what I have to say. So
Sebastian,
if Eric
you're
and
just
Dylan,
enforcing the meme.
if
Man.
Eric and Dylan want to, voice their opinions on this, then they can.
And I've already said this before, but putting 5 bans into one role when you have 5 bans to spread out to cut off everybody's major champions, that's kind of just a waste, and someone else is going to carry the game. I mean, I don't see a point to 5 banning Sebastian.
Especially
Because
if he's
that
probably
is
the
their
worst
major
player in the LCS.
True.
Yeah, let's be real. Real quick, while we have a bit of a quick lull, there was a question from Caleb. I'm not trying to derail this.
No, go ahead.
Before we talk about it, he said, "I have a question for Greg. This is actually serious." One of the first times that referred to himself as actually serious.
He was never serious with me.
I know. How was the stress last season with kind of being the administrative role / what can we do to help you out?
What was that question? Sorry, I didn't hear you, Eric.
Oh my god, I already deleted it.
Was it like?
It was
last
how was
season?
the stress last season, because you were
With being the
pretty
only
much the only administrative role of this. Like what is it that the community can do to help you out, like lessen that stress?
Probably just sending me as much weed as possible. No, but in all seriousness, it really wasn't that bad. I think the biggest thing was that I played and also ran it, and I think that kind of just was a little bit much for me. So I'm not playing this split. I'm not on any of the teams at all, so I'm only gonna be running it. But in my opinion, I think the biggest thing that people can do to help is just communicate as much as you can when you're scheduling matches. So, like, if you look at my captain chats with someone else when I talk to someone about scheduling a match, it is just like every single day I'm like, have you talked to your team? Have you talked to your team? Have you talked to your team? Because that's the best way to get things organized, is to constantly address them, as we all know from business meetings. So just really be on top of scheduling with matches and make sure you're constantly communicating, so that I don't have to step in and kind of, facilitate that.
Okay, so Jingo PMA says, real question. If my work schedule is getting in the way of scheduling games, can I make myself a sub and make a sub become a full-time member of the team?
Yeah, that's no problem, as long as it's ran by me. It could always be a situation. I know our team last split, we had Julio wasn't there for the first 2 weeks, so we had Adam sub in. That's no problem. You just want to obviously make sure that everyone in the group knows, so announcing it on the page, obviously letting me know, and then above all, making sure that ranking is similar. You don't really want to replace your bronze or silver player with a diamond player, ideally. So yeah, that's no problem. That's no problem. It's pretty flexible in that sense. And to go off of that, we do have about 11 or 12 possible subs. There might be more. I don't remember off the top of my head, but there are quite a lot of subs to be used. There's actually 14 subs. So it's pretty flexible. You know, we don't really need to necessarily worry about that too much. But yeah.
The chat is so much wanting the roster.
What do they want?
They want the
so
roster.
bad.
Well, they'll have to wait. They'll get over it. Next point here is not really one that really needs to be discussed. Kind of, all new champs and reworked champs are available to use immediately. So basically,
Wait,
there's no
pause.
time.
Pause.
Go ahead.
You didn't go through. There's still some things on champ select. The 1 minute rule.
Oh,
I was gonna answer that in chat, but okay.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I'll get this out of the way so we don't see it for now. Okay. So yeah. So this was definitely something that I had as a rule last split, but it wasn't enforced. It's going to be enforced this split. So teams will have 60 seconds for each pick and each ban. This is going to be enforced by the opposite team captain of whoever's picking.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things, to be blatantly honest with you, it's kind of one of those things that I don't really think is going to be a problem. I didn't think it was going to be a problem last split, but I hopefully with this change it'll help. It's more so just to make sure teams aren't taking like 3 to 4 minutes. The goal is that people will know exactly what their bans are before the match, the first 3 bans at least, before the match starts, so we don't really need to necessarily worry about that. But yeah, that'll be enforced by the opposing team's captain. If there's a situation in which they don't pick a champion within those 60 seconds, or they don't pick a ban within those 60 seconds, they will lose the ban, or they will lose the ban in the second phase. I don't really know what to do if it's not in the last 2 champion picks, if it's not 60 seconds. I haven't really thought about that.
Roll over to the next game.
Yeah, could roll. Yeah, that's
Even
probably
if
what'll
it's the
happen.
next set. I did want to make one comment real quick on the ban system, or on the whole champ select system, just so that it's clear. It's not going to be like 10 ban system that Riot's unrolling for like solo queue, where it's every team bans 5 blind bans. It's going to be your blue team bans 3 and your red team bans 3 normal, and then both teams pick their 3 champs, with blue team picking 1, red team picking 2, blue team picking 2, red team picking 1. And then it's going to go straight into the second round of. You're going to have red team ban first, and then blue team ban, red team ban, blue team ban. And then the second round of picks will happen, where red team will pick 1, blue team will pick 2, and then red team will pick their last pick. Just so that everybody's aware of how that actual process is going to go, just like the LCS.
Yeah, exactly. And so not much else to say about that.
Yeah. Oh, and to answer Stock's question, yes, this is actually a new rule that we're enforcing this season. Is that subs must be a Find Me Off.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
What are you talking about? We're already past
No,
subs.
we'll get to it.
and
Don't worry.
everything else.
Don't worry.
Are we not?
We'll get to it. Maybe if
What
you
the
read
hell?
the sheet that we made to discuss for tonight, you would see.
I'm
that we're
looking
gonna
at
get
it
to
right now.
Don't worry. And you're wrong. We're on number 5.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
I'm
my
getting
goodness.
trolled.
Anyway,
I'm getting trolled.
next point is role swaps. So this is something I know, especially with the finals last split, that a lot of people kind of had up in arms about. Oh, buddy. So we're gonna institute a new rule to split, in which if teams want to switch roles at all, it needs to be indicated in the way you are ordered in the champion select. So if your mid laner is planning to go jungle, you need to be ordered accordingly to facilitate for that.
Cool.
You're welcome, guys. I fought pretty hard for that one.
The reason for that being is there's a bunch of different reasons, mainly which is it kind of can be abused a bit. So you could basically just wait to see who they ban as their first 3 champions, and then be like, oh look, they banned 3 of my champions, I'm just gonna go AD carry. All right, sweet. Or you could just theoretically have like your best player match up against their worst player every single game and just try to get them to stomp. So that's gonna be something that we're gonna put in for next split.
Cool.
All right. So now getting to the point that Sebastian kind of went through for before we're actually supposed to substitutions. This is a big rule change that was from last split. Non-symphonians are not allowed to play in the PMA LCS.
All right, there you are. All right, you're gonna have to go back
Okay.
on that again because
It wasn't just
you
me.
were in
I
a
was like,
robot.
wait.
Yeah.
Non-symphonians are not allowed to play in the PMA LCS at all. Period. The biggest reason for that being is that it's the Phi Mu Alpha LCS. I just don't think it's very fun when we have other non-symphonians playing, mainly just because it's for us. We're the ones that are running it. We're the ones that are participating in it. So with that change coming up, substitutes are going to be mainly used from the substitute list. If you have a sub that's a brother that's not on the list, they must sign up on the list prior to the match. If they are not on the match, they will automatically be disqualified until they sign up. That's for organization's sake, just so I know when I look at previous matches, just to make sure I know who's a brother and stuff like that. So that'll be very important. Must sign up.
We have people saying, "What if no sub can be found?"
So, with that being said, in the event that all possible substitutes are used, then a player of another team in the LCS may be used if it is approved by me and the opposing team captain. So I'm going to write that down. Does anyone want to talk about that while I'm doing that?
Yeah, so let's say, for example, whoever's team I end up being on, if I can't make a match, they can't find any subs, my team captain could then put a feeler out to see what other top laners would want to potentially sub for our squad, and it would need to be somebody fairly similarly ranked, and because that way it doesn't mess up with the balance, so that we don't get a stop.
Oh.
Well, let's hope. I mean, we're all brothers. If you're a team captain and somebody to you saying, "Yo, our top laner can't make it. We can't find his," let's throw Sebastian out because Sebastian's in this. That one might not be the most balanced, but let's pretend like it is for the sake of the discussion. If I'm the team captain on the other team, be a Symphonian first, be a League player second. If you can tell that it's clearly a balanced trade for that match, and that they've done everything they can do to find a sub from a place, be brotherly, be a Symphonian, say it's fine. Cool.
Yeah, also it's gonna be a situation in which every single substitute, primary or secondary for that role needs to be asked. And another kind of thing going into that, is every single substitute will need to be asked regardless of ranking. So as an example, if your gold player is not going to be able to make it and there's no subs that are gold or above, you're going to have to ask a silver or bronze player. The reason for that being is because you guys all said on the PMA LCS forum that you are available 4 to 5 days out of the week and your schedules are open. So if you really think that, then there shouldn't be a problem. You should be able to make most of your matches. So that's kind of how that's going to go for that.
And also, subsequently, if your bronze or silver player cannot make it, and you cannot find a bronze or silver player for your substitute, you can, in theory, pick up a gold or plat laner for that lane.
As long as the other team captain approves it.
And me.
And
Right.
Greg.
Yeah. And of course, we would have to make some changes because that's pretty up there. But I think leaving that to the discretion of Greg has got us this far and hasn't really bit us in the ass yet. So
obviously, it's not going to be a situation in which you're going to have like your silver support out and you're going to have like a diamond one come in. Worst comes to worst, if that's like a situation, we'll just find a brother from another team. We'll make it work to the best of the ability. The main thing I just want is to happen is that substitutes on the list do get used. I just know that a lot of people signed up to only substitute, and I want to make sure that those people actually get a chance to play.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so that's the updates for next split. Like I said, if you guys have any more questions about it, feel free to ask in chat. But we have one more thing before we announce the rosters. One more thing. So this next thing is going to be a segment that it's going to be players to watch for next split.
Well, shouldn't we announce who's playing first so that people?
Nah, fuck
Because
that. They'll have to wait till we're done.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
I agree with Greg. Yeah, we
I
should
just want to
Okay.
make them suffer as much as possible. I'm almost considering just not releasing it at all. But so we're gonna talk about players to watch for next split. So we're gonna go roll
Let's go
by
top
roll.
lane down. Absolutely. And
So-
we won't discuss for our positions because Smash and I are top laners. And Dylan, I don't remember what you're playing this split, but that we will opt out of those discussions so that there's no bias there.
definitely.
So we're gonna start with top lane. I'll just go ahead and go first. My player to watch out for next split is none other than Jingle 1996. I think Jingle was a player that was vastly underrated the entire split. I think he's someone that was extremely consistent. Someone that played a lot of meta picks and always, for the most part, had a big performance. He either won his lane or he went even, but was still above in CS by a little bit. So he's definitely someone that was very consistent all split, and that definitely showed in the finals too. I mean, in all of those games, other than the one their team got stomped, he definitely had a very big impact. You know, he had that Galio game where he had some very nice ultis, and so I just think he's someone that is, someone to look out for as a player that's going to be a very good top laner.
All right, Dylan, how about you?
Yeah, you pretty much took that pick right from me. I was going to say, watch out for Jingle 1996. He's definitely a big threat in there. And we were very blessed that he wasn't on that roster for the week that we wound up facing his team. And he was really who we were worried about for that game. And it let us pinch out the other champion pools. And so he's definitely a huge impact player, especially out on that Rumble pick, which is now a super meta top lane carry that you'll see in the pro scene a lot. And he knows that champion and he can play it. He can definitely carry on that one.
So top lane, just watch out for Jingle is what I'm hearing. Okay, cool.
Essentially.
All right, so going to jungle next. I'm actually gonna sit out this one, so you guys can go ahead. Whoever wants to go first. Eric, why don't you go ahead?
All right. For me, all of my players to watch out for that I chose, I want to keep it to players who are new to the split, people that we haven't seen, we don't fully know what they have yet. And for me in the jungle, it came down to Piper, or as some of us like to call him, Piper is ISIS. Piper, he's an interesting player to play with. He's a lot of fun to play with, and he's good at finding good little engages and good little skirmishes. And some of the picks that I've seen him pull out, pretty good with team coordinated play. I think that if he gets really good synergy with his, he can make up games of a lot of their matches. So I think that's my jungler to watch out for.
All right. I guess I'll get into my jungle pick. You can't really have a jungle discussion without this guy ever being a part of the conversation, and that is going to be Elucida Hansu Sung. I mean, the tail is in the tape, as they say. I mean, you saw him pull out so many carry junglers that it can make anybody's head spin. And the amount of pressure that he brings just from the jungle alone is something that's very, very essentially last split. It was very what's the word I'm looking for? It was very unique to him because there wasn't really any other junglers, in the main roster that could really pull out the carry potential that Hansu could. He even brought a couple of. He was one of the 2 or 3 players that actually brought bans with him into the jungle. You needed to ban. You needed to ban his Echo. You needed to ban his Graves for the better part of the season. So it's all gonna, history tends to repeat itself, and I think Hansu is just gonna make a really, really big showing this go around in this league.
Cool. Dylan?
Really, the jungler I think you're gonna want to watch out for this split is Silent Taco, Mr. Kin. He rotates very impactful tank and support junglers, and then he can also pull out that Kha'Zix, and he always puts up a good performance on that Kha'Zix. Always threatening the back line, able to jump in. I think pretty much every game he had excellent kill participation and getting in there with that Kha'Zix, dealing good damage. I think he also had like one of the highest KDAs in the entire split out of everybody. So he's definitely a jungler who can play what the team needs depending on the comp and easily just switch between that tank, support, and carry role out of that jungle.
I can definitely agree with that. He was
Cool.
definitely the sleeper on his team last time around, especially when we played against him. So I definitely agree.
So mid lane?
Yeah, seems like it. Greg, why don't you go ahead and start us off? Yeah.
Sure. So my mid lane pick is actually someone that is switching over from support to the mid lane, and that's going to be Violet Sociocat. My biggest reason for this pick is if you look at Violet's games in the finals of last
Oh my
split,
gosh.
I mean, the impact she had was just crazy. I mean, that Cho'Gath, I think Frank is still having war flashbacks
Because they actually
from
put
the
him up on screen.
Cho'Gath game. So she had a huge impact last split, and I think she was like, "Why the hell am I playing support? It's so much easier to just carry from mid. I'm just gonna go to mid lane." So I think this is definitely someone to watch out for. Big shot caller, big playmaker. Someone I think is gonna have a huge impact again on the LCS.
Yeah.
The chat's going crazy right now because I guess they didn't know that Ali was going mid. But yeah, Ali's the mid laner now. So all you fucking scrubs that think you're good at mid lane better fucking show up.
We're looking
Alright,
at you, Will. Sorry, cough.
I'm gonna jump in with mine, and if the mid lane pool wasn't scary enough with Ali being in, I'm gonna hit you up with another new player to a split, new player to a lot of the 5U Alpha League community, and that's J-Rar. Um, he is a phenomenal player. I've been playing. Really cool guy, but he is like what you look for in a carry out of your mid lane. He can take very little and do a lot with it, or he can take a lot and do a shit ton with it. He's gonna definitely be receiving plenty of bans. I'm not gonna go into what those champs are because it's soon enough. But this man, between his mechanical ability and his knowledge of macro and his games through his experience with the collegiate league, I forget what they call that, at his college, it could be enough to like solo carry whatever team he has to the finals.
What's it called? I'll come behind Eric with that.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will.
That sounds
That ain't how I roll.
Okay. All right. Well, I am personally going to choose. This is Lugo, Chris Lugo, Diamond 5 player, new to PMA as well. Unfortunately, I haven't personally, played with him because I've had a little bit of a hiatus. But I've only heard some great things about him. I've only heard that he's a really, really big freaking threat to that mid lane, especially with that Echo. Everyone's pretty much telling me that Echo is going to be Echo for this guy is going to be permabanned whenever I was doing my homework on him. And I mean, looking him up on op.gg, which I know a lot of you guys are probably doing right now, it's insane what this man can do with the champions that he's given. So I definitely think he's going to be up there in those threats, not just because he's a Diamond 5 player, but because the champ pool that he has is so diverse, and it's just I don't know. It's kind of crazy to really think about that because you always think about like mid laners making sure that they have those 3 or 4 champions because they're going to have at least 2 bans going their way in the 3-ban system. I can't imagine in the 5-ban system, but I'm really excited to see what this man can pull out in the mid lane.
Cool, Dylan.
All right. Well, I don't really know too many of the. There's a lot of new mid laners in this league. I don't really know too many of how these people play mid lane. But I'm gonna have to rally behind Violet Sociocat, one of the players that I've played probably the most recently with in the bot lane. This hoe's gonna be loyal and be watching out for that Cho'Gath pick in the mid lane.
Cool.
Shout out to
So-
William the Torpedo Brooks, by the way.
The torpedo.
Why is it the torpedo?
That's his nickname. Did you guys not know that?
Why is that his nickname?
I
Can
know,
we
that's
talk
what
about
he
this?
told me. He told me his nickname is William the Torpedo Brooks. That's just going off what he told me, man.
That there is so much context that needs to go into that name. I'm not even gonna.
I'm
That's all
pretty
I
sure
said.
pretty sure Greg just made it up
No,
on the spot.
Yeah.
ask him after the stream. He'll tell you. He'll tell you. All right. So,
Bot
moving
lane.
on to AD carry. I'm gonna start off with my pick. Another person that's switching from the support role is your boy Kasima Niehaus, Salvatore
Formerly allergic to
Rosado. My reason I picked him is he's someone that on support last year was a big playmaker, whether it be an insanely good play or you're like, Sal, what the hell were you thinking?
When he flashes face first into a fucking what was he, like a 10-2 misfortune or something? Oh my god! Still one of the best fucking plays in my life. I'll be
I
honest.
think Sal is someone that has the potential to go off in a game, and you kind of underestimate him just because he's Sal and he's a goofball. But I think he's definitely someone that has the potential to go off. We did see him. I mean, even his misfortune support last split was actually pretty good for someone that told me he'd never played misfortune before that game. So I'm excited to see kind of how he does this split.
Cool. I'm gonna hop in with my ADC pick. I know I spoiled it a little bit already because I said I was going with all new players, but for this one, I want to give it out to Bison. I know he subbed a couple times last split, but and Bellwing Bison's a player who I think will get under, underrated, I guess. His rank doesn't. He's one of those players that I don't think his rank is a true testament to his skill because he plays very well. He's especially from the AD role, his solution's pretty solid. He has a good carry potential in games. And I know he just posted he had a disgusting pentakill that he had in the game, and I think Bellwing Bison could surprise a lot split, and I think it's going to really depend on how the rest of the team can mold it too.
All right. Well, my pick is gonna be a little bit of a spoiler, but I mean, we already had Ali as a spoiler, so I'm guessing that this is gonna be okay. My pick was actually in the LCS last season, and he is actually in this call right now.
It's me.
Yeah, it's definitely Eric. No. My pick for AD carry this season is going to be General Dill Pickle. Okay, this man is absolutely insane in any role that I've ever seen him play. I hate it so fucking much because he's so goddamn diverse. It doesn't matter where I fucking face him, he will stomp my shit in every single time. And like,
Yep.
I haven't really seen him play AD carry, but like, this is gonna be absolutely exciting for me to watch. Not to play against, but to watch. So, so you know, you better be freaking ready with those Lulu bands because they're fucking coming. Machine Gun Lulu is coming to a neighborhood near you.
Stop fucking telling everyone, Sebastian.
She is not gonna fucking stop until everybody is dead.
See,
All right, but
I
that's
think,
my.
I think the real reason Dylan switched to AD carry is so now he can just play Nivea and it won't get banned against him.
Right, nobody's gonna ban the Nivea 80 carry.
Oh my god. He goes to pick a Nivea and they're like, wait, but you said you're a carry, not mid. Yeah,
Guys, we
no.
might actually have the first like actual Urgot ban, and it'd be like legitimate in this fucking league.
Oh my
God fucking damn.
Alright, so support?
Oh wait, Dylan didn't get to say his.
No, don't.
I am an 80 carry. I don't need to say
No, that's
my
true. That's true.
biggest-
I'll start it up on support since nobody else was.
Go for it.
I'm giving it out to Adon Vel, another new player. I don't know if I summoned her name right. I got first. It's a partial shout out because the dude's from my chapter. What up? I had an Omicron in the hizzy. But he's
What?
what?
I'm sorry. Just keep going. Just keep going.
He's a pretty solid player, and he's really good at aiding whatever's going on with the team. He might not necessarily be the strongest mechanically. He's really good at making the rotations and being who he needs to be, and I think that could be a really good trait to have in a support in a fives setting. And I think the trick for him is going to be, is his champion big enough to survive this? I think it will. I've seen him play. It's just a matter of what are the things that he's confident on that he knows he can perform on. So that's my pick.
All right. Well, I always got to come second to Eric. So my support pick for this go around is actually going to be Super Hoagie.
Hey.
I mean, he's new to the LCS, but he's nowhere near new.
No, he played last split.
Did he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
My bad. So
Holy
actually,
cow.
I mean, I never paid attention to the bot lane. I'm a top laner. Please. So in any case, yeah, Super Hoagie's gonna be my pick. Yeah, I remember the games now. He's always been that really, really good utility support that a lot of teams need. You know, not a lot of support players last split actually played anything but, you know, the tankier type players like Braum, Leona. There was a couple.
Alistair.
Yeah, there was a couple of Alistar. There was even the Nautilus at some point as well.
Mm-hmm. It was
And
actually
he
Hoagie
really,
who played the Nautilus.
well, in any case, but he can still pick that utility support. He has that Jano, which is absolutely insane when he goes off on it. Like, I've played against it a couple of times, and it's frustrating how everything is always off of cooldown for him. But he just has such good management of his spell rotations that everything is always off of cooldown, and he always gets away with 5 life. So I'm really excited to see what he does with the AD carry and the team that is going to be built around him. And yeah, I mean, I can see some really good things coming from Super Hoagie.
And he plays Lulu right there.
Yeah.
That's almost enough. Greg, Dylan?
Sure, I'll go ahead next. My pick's gonna be, I am Gert. Big reason I picked Gert is because he's a very, very consistent player from when I played with him. He's someone that generally specializes in tank supports. He can play a little bit of the peeling AP supports, but for the most part plays tank supports, and he's very consistent. He has great engage opportunities, especially on champions like Alistar and Braum. But at the same time, he's also good at knowing when exactly to peel. And I think he's someone that kind of gets underrated a little bit, going off what Eric was saying earlier. Gets underrated in the sense that you don't expect him to make the big plays, but he does. You know, he makes the pulverized headbutts on Alistar. You know, he gets the chain CC. He saves people's lives with Tom Kench all the time. So I just expect him to just be someone that game in and game out is going to have big performances.
Oh, yeah. Dylan?
I'm gonna have to be watching out for a new support to this league, Baba Booey, mostly because of that awesome name. Baba Booey.
Is that it?
Yeah, there is. I think he's gonna be our new resident Thresh main with Ali headed out of the support role. Definitely a big Thresh player in the past, and also gets onto that Braum and just good tank support. I think he's gonna be definitely someone to look out for.
I really hope his name is actually Bob.
No, his name is Matthew Bowles.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yo, he'll be really good friends with Greg with a last name like that. The match made in heaven.
Hey, Greg did want us to send him a few bowls, so here you go.
All right. Well, it looks like that's it for tonight, guys. Thanks for tuning in. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so here is what's going to happen with these team rosters. So I'm going to put the spreadsheet in chat. It'll have all of chat. Holy cow.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness.
How to piss off
Chat just
everybody 101.
Oh, man. So I'm going to announce the rosters here in chat. with a spreadsheet over the next 10 to 15 minutes, depending how long it takes. It's going to be up to your team in that Facebook chat to determine who your team's captain is going to be. You guys have until Sunday to let me know who the captain is. Pretty simple, no problems at all. So I guess I'll share it now. Here we go.
I'm just waiting for chat.
Just kidding. Alternative facts.
That's it. Done. It's out.
Where'd you post it? Ah, there it is.
In the Twitch chat.
All right, guys. So like I said, I'm going to make those Facebook groups here for the teams. Let me know your captain. And I guess that's it for us. You guys got anything else to add?
Don't we want to like go through like each team?
Let's talk. Like at least actually say them.
There's no way
On
anybody's
chat.
listening to it right now.
I mean, you can have the stream like open and like hear it and.
Oh, maybe I
watch...
can like do this. I can put the teams here.
Yeah, there you go. Boom.
Can I like zoom in? How do I zoom in?
What are you doing?
Why am I so zoomed out? Oh, because it's this.
Because you can't control. You
Shut
can't
up,
Greg.
scroll. You have to control plus and control minus on Google Docs.
That one's funny. That one's funny.
Caleb was freaking out this whole time about Ali being mid lane, only to find out that he's on the team with Ali.
You coming with me, boy? Bring that ass here.
Oh man.
All right, so team 1, I'm gonna get us started talking through these. We have Garfield Juice. We have Bounty 1012 in jungle. C Van mid lane. I can't see it. Bad. Hang on. Jirachi, the 80 carry, and Mr. Baba Booey, the support. The one and only.
Baba Booey.
Who's team 2? Who's taking that one?
Team
I'll
two's
yeah.
best team. I can handle team 2. Team
Oh,
2 is going all the fucking way to finals right now. We got Sayato up in the top lane, Bukaki Poro in the jungle, the one and only Will the Torpedo Brooks as our mid laner, and General the Torpedo Dill as the 80 carry. I saw that, Greg. I saw that.
Your team name has to just be the Torpedoes.
With
Please.
Osk the Torpedo Gar bringing up the support.
Oh,
I'm making the
shit.
groups for Facebook so you guys could just keep talking.
All right. I guess I'll talk about my team. What's it called? So you got me in the top lane. Who would have fucking thought? You got Piper Isis in the jungle, and it was pretty cool hearing about the fact that he's actually going to be one of those players to watch out for. So I'm actually really excited about that. Chris Lugo, yeah, I did it. I was that guy that talked about my mid laner before, like what's it call it? Yeah, fuck me. Bellowing
Whoa.
Bison, another player that actually got mentioned as well, is going to be in the 80 carry role. And Simplex 17, Matt Ryan is going to meme me to fucking Tilt Town. So it's all good. But yeah, that's going to be my team. And Dylan, we'll see you at finals, dude.
Hell yeah, man. Bring it on.
All right, next up we got team 4. We got Urios 31. Sure, we'll go with that as a top laner. Silent Taco, one of them players to watch out for. J-Rar in the mid lane. Psycho Boy 92 as the AD carry, and X Metro Falcon support, making the switch over from top lane support split. Team 5.
All right. Wrapping it up with Team 5 here. Because Team 4, we don't care about Team 4 anymore. It's time for Team 5. Balakik Strand in the top lane, followed by I've always wondered how you actually pronounce this. Irayan in the jungle. Violet Sociocat as your mid laner. Enchante, the 80 carry, and Bookmarkle, their support.
That's gonna be crazy. That's a crazy ass team right there.
That's
Jesus
a
Christ.
reliable solo lane.
I mean, you have an all-star jungler, and I mean, granted, it was an all-star support, but I mean, come on now, like that's an all-star mid laner
Right.
in my books. Goddamn, that's gonna be really, really fucking strong. So I guess I'll go ahead and take Team 6. We got Jimmy H1Y1K. Cool, man. Good name. Top lane. What's it called? We got Clumsy Chocobo in the jungle. Julio boosted Calais. DG Mad Hatter, Frank Anthony Caputo in the mid lane here. Family Man 96 gonna be your 80 carry, and Super Hoagie, my support pick for this split, is gonna be Team 6's support.
An interesting thing about Team 6 is that this is going to be the one bot lane that is the same bot lane from last split because Family Man and Super Hoagie last split. So we'll see if maybe some of that synergy can carry over on this team and maybe give them a boost headed towards the start of the split. But anyway, moving forward to Team 7, we got Jingle 1996 apparently this season. That's all right. As the top
The
laner.
only top laner in this entire split.
Yeah, the only one. He is one of my top laners. I mean, there are 1996 of them.
95, there you
96
go.
Jingles.
Jingle the Torpedo, 96.
And then we got Dat Walrus as the jungler. Budnificent going over to mid lane. Says, I'm done playing AD. I'm going to just go start killing AD. We got Opie, the AD carry with I Am Gert as the support.
Yeah, I mean, Buddy's the perfect example of an AD carry that lives long enough to see himself become a mid laner. So it's all good.
I guess I'll be the only one not to talk about my.
No, you can take your team.
Nope.
Go ahead.
Nope, take it. Nope.
I'll
somebody
take
else
your
do
team. I'll take your team.
It. Do it. Do
All
it.
right, so first off, we got No One Gives a Shit. Skippin, Jungler, Elicita, the Hansu Magai song. Mid laner, Xanicus, Musicus, Caleb Palmer coming in new to this split. My 80 carry pick, Cosima Niehaus. And we got Adamville on support, and I guess I'll mention him. Gnarls, the literal worst Gnar player ever. Barkley, Eric Just
Damn.
in the top lane.
Hey, did you guys know that Greg has good jokes?
What?
I've heard him.
Want to hear a joke? Your performance in top lane.
Oh shit.
Oh shit. Eric the
right.
non-torpedo.
The non-torpedo. I'm perfectly okay with
Correct.
not. All right, Dylan, finish
Well,
this up.
And last but not least, your team number 9 coming in the top lane, Stockdalius, Wyatt Stockdale. Coming in for the jungle, new to the PMA LCS as a full-time player, a sub from the last split, Theatrix. And moving into the mid lane role from the AD carry role, Bearded Bear Lover. Sitting at his bot lane role, Sadistic the Trash Lord Cobalt. And finally, having to deal with that shit in the bot lane, you have Nature Dan.
Holy shit.
I love you, Zach.
Oh my god.
Oh god. God damn. Alright, well. Oh shit. Alright.
I hope you guys- I hope you guys have had fun.
Yeah, man, that's pretty much it. We had a lot of fun doing this. This is literally off the fucking dome.
So I'm creating these Facebook messages right now. Make sure you guys let me know your captains by Sunday. And I didn't mention it before. I'm gonna mention it now. I forgot. So the way these teams were created is my non-Symphonian, very smart friend made them. He based it off of primary roles and rankings. And then he also based it off of like a point system. So unranked was 0 points, bronze was 1, silver 2, etc., etc. So there's a very big emphasis to balance these teams as best as possible. Across the board, if a team doesn't have a platinum or a diamond player, they have 2 gold players to make up for it. So just keep that in mind. Did the best we could. I had literally nothing to do with the selecting of the teams. He did it all. So just keep that in mind. You guys got anything else to add?
Nah, guys, let's have a fucking good split. Like I'm pretty fucking hyped. I'm pretty hyped with these teams that have been announced. Like everything, like there's just
Scroll
gonna be,
up.
like nothing but what?
Hey, I got you.
Scroll up.
Jay, check the chat. I got you.
I want to see all the teams though.
Yeah,
Go to
there's a
go to the-
spreadsheet.
It's
There's a
almost,
spreadsheet.
it's almost as if I put a spreadsheet in chat with all the
He
teams.
came into. He
Where?
Came into it.
Bitch,
I just posted it again.
Anyway, yeah, like, what's it called? Just like have fun, guys. I'm definitely gonna have a lot of fun this split. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of new stuff rolling out, like 10 bands and all the strategies that go along with that. So yeah, let's just have a fucking good split and like let's not be shitty.
Well said.
Hey,
Words to live by.
I'll do my best not to be shitty, but if the enemy bot lane's fed, I swear it wasn't me.
You will never touch Urgot and you will never touch Lulu. I hope you understand this.
Fuck.
I'm telling you this right now. You'll never touch those champions in your life.
All right, guys. Well, I guess that's it for us. We'll go in the order of which we kind of did before. This is Gurg7.
Sebastian Alarcon.
gnarliest of Barclays.
And General Dill.
Have a good night, especially you, William the Torpedo Brooks.
Seriously, Dylan, your team has to be the Torpedoes. Please.
It's tempting. Team the Torpedo.